everybody, so we are going to go over number 9 in the homework packet on page 13. So on this problem, we are going to start with figuring out if there are any horizontal asymptotes. Looking at the degrees, is this top heavy, bottom heavy, same? Top heavy, so top heavy does not have any horizontal asymptotes. So you can go ahead and either leave it blank or draw a slash there. Next, vertical asymptotes and holes. To find those, we need to figure out any restrictions that we have on x in the denominator. So looking at the denominator, can I factor that? Yeah, difference of squares. X plus 3, x minus 3. So if we need to keep our denominator from being equal to 0, same restrictions that we found when we were solving a couple of days ago, x can't be equal to negative 3, and x can't be equal to positive 3. So remember, folks, just like when you are solving for x-intercepts, the sign changes. So set x plus 3 equal to 0, and it's x equals negative 3, x minus 3 equal to 0, it's x plus 3. You need to know which restriction goes with which factor, because that's how you will classify it as a hole or an asymptote. So we know those are our two restrictions. We don't know if we're going to have asymptotes or holes there. So what do we need to do at the top? We're going to have to factor it. Going back to last unit, how do we factor a 4-term thing? First, we check for a GCF. There isn't one. So how do we factor a 4-term thing? Split it in half. Grouping. So we're going to split it in half. Take a GCF out from the first pair, which leaves us with, let's see, we'll take on x squared, which leaves me with x plus 2. What are we going to take out as a GCF from the second pair? Negative 9. And the whole goal of taking out that negative 9 is we want whatever is left in the parentheses to be the same so that I can take that out as a GCF from both groups. So this will be equal to x plus 2 now comes out as a GCF, x squared minus 9. And this is all over.
And we can split the x9 even further.
Thank you! Because if we look at this, it's like, well, nothing cancels out. Maybe they're both vertical asymptotes. I can factor this a step further. What a gross problem. I'm glad we're doing this one together. So difference of squares, we can break that into x plus 3 and x minus 3. So what happens to both of those restrictions? They both cancel. Quote unquote cancel. So I got a hole at negative 3 and I've got a hole at positive 3. So hole at x equals negative 3, x equals positive 3. Any vertical asymptotes? No. Now, for the graphing part, we actually can probably do this one without our calculator. If you find that surprising, take a look at what we get when we look at that canceled equation. So when we cancel it out, the function will behave like the canceled equation. So f of x equals, what are we left with? X plus 2. So there's our canceled equation. And it is linear. So I can just straight up start at 2. So folks, do I even need to show any work for the y-intercept? No, I know my y-intercept is going to be 0, 2. You could still plug in 0 if you wanted to, but you will still get a positive 2. And then my slope of this is up 1 over 1. Now I'm going to go up 1 over 1, down 1, back 1. But remember, we're not going to have a solid line. We are going to have breaks or holes at those inputs. So I just kind of lightly did those dots on there so that I could find where negative 3 is, which is going to be at that dot, and find where positive 3 is, which will be at this dot, I leave those as open dots or holes, and then I draw the line. So don't go through those open dots, those are the holes. I also don't need to do any solve work for my x-intercepts here. There is only one, and what is it?
-2.
-2, 0, perfect. So yeah, folks, you might need to show some work, you might not need to show much work at all. Definitely got to see factoring work on these problems, though. So, folks, that is it from me. You have the rest of the time to work. Please don't have any homework over break. Please get this done and submit it during class today, either to me directly or on Canvas. That way you can have no homework for the weekend. Currently, our plan is still to test on Tuesday